Stop making vague New Year's resolutions that evaporate by mid-January. What if 2026 could genuinely be your best year, not through motivation, but through systems? This episode reveals the exact framework that transforms ambitious dreamers into consistent achievers.
The neuroscience is unambiguous. Goal achievement isn't about willpower or discipline. It's about architecture. And research from Stanford, Dominican University, and Harvard Business School has identified 7 strategic systems that increase success probability from 8% to 95%.
2026 procrastination, scattered goals, zero progress by March? That's not a character flaw. It's a system design flaw. The same system that failed you in 2025 will fail again unless you deliberately restructure it.
Whether your goal is career transformation, health optimization, skill development, or financial growth, this episode provides the exact operational framework. Vocabulary, research citations, professional idioms, actionable implementation steps, everything.
The secret? Break 2026 into 4 powerful 90-day sprints. Stack tiny habits onto existing routines. Build accountability structures that make failure impossible. Design energy systems that fuel execution.
This isn't motivational speaking. This is applied neuroscience. Stay with us for the next 32 minutes and you'll possess the complete blueprint for making 2026 genuinely transformational. Welcome back to the English Coffee Break. I'm Christopher, and today we're tackling the most critical question of January 2026, how to transform this year from another annual cycle into your genuine breakthrough year.
I'm Aria. Today's episode, How to Make 2026 Your Best Year, is structured around 7 research-backed systems that actually work. Not vague motivation. Actual operational frameworks you can execute starting today.
We're covering goal architecture, 90-day sprint systems, habit stacking, energy management, accountability design, failure protocols, and quarterly review strategies. Each section includes peer-reviewed research, operational implementation steps, and the precise professional vocabulary you'll use in business environments globally.
This material elevates your English proficiency while simultaneously giving you the actual systems that make 2026 your breakthrough year. 2 birds with 1 stone.
These aren't abstract theories. Entrepreneurs use these systems to launch businesses. Athletes use them for Olympic training. Executives use them for career advancement. You're about to learn their exact playbook.
Grab your notebook. We're building the blueprint for your best year.
Strategy number 1. The Goal Architecture Framework, structuring your 2026 goals using the science-backed hierarchy that actually produces results.
Christopher, this is fascinating. I've always struggled with making New Year's commitments actually stick. Walk us through the science and specific implementation details.
Most people fail their New Year's goals within 3 weeks because they set vague aspirations instead of structured systems. Research from Dominican University shows that specific, written goals are 42% more likely to be achieved compared to general intentions. But there's a deeper architecture. Your goals need hierarchy. Level 1, your mission statement, the identity you're building. Not lose weight, but become someone who naturally prioritizes health. Level 2, annual objectives aligned with that mission, 3 to 5 maximum. Level 3, quarterly milestones breaking annual goals into achievable chunks. Level 4, weekly tasks and daily habits executing the system. Legendary goal-setting researcher B.J. Fogg discovered that people fail when they skip levels, jumping directly from vague mission to daily habits with no intermediate structure. The result? Your brain experiences constant failure because goals feel perpetually unachievable.
Christopher, this hierarchy explains why someone might write become wealthy but never take concrete action. The goal lacks intermediate structure, right?
Precisely. And here's what's fascinating. When you build the 4-level architecture, something neurological shifts. Your brain sees the pathway from daily action to annual outcome visibly connected. You can trace a single morning run directly to your health mission. That connectivity dramatically increases motivation and consistency.
How would someone actually build this architecture for 2026? Walk us through a concrete example with timeline.
Monday morning, write your personal mission statement, 1 sentence defining who you're becoming in 2026. Then identify 3 annual objectives supporting that mission. Then break each objective into 4 quarterly milestones, 1 per quarter. Then design weekly and daily habits supporting quarter 1. Start small, expand progressively. The architecture becomes your roadmap.
Excellent framework. For our professional listeners, the precise technical term used in organizational psychology and business strategy is goal architecture. This is essential vocabulary for strategic conversations. Define this precisely.
Outstanding question. Goal architecture refers to a hierarchical framework consisting of mission statement, annual objectives, quarterly milestones, and weekly/daily habits that creates a visible pathway from daily actions to long-term outcomes, dramatically increasing achievement probability. This terminology appears in Harvard Business Review, McKinsey Research, and strategic planning documents globally.
I can see myself using this language naturally in strategy meetings and professional presentations. Now, how do native English speakers naturally express this concept? The idiom is get your act together.
Perfect point. Many English learners encounter this expression but misunderstand its application. Let me paint a vivid scenario showing this idiom in authentic context.
You've been drifting through late 2025, inconsistent with exercise, nutrition, and career development. January 1st arrives and you decide it's time to get your act together. But without structured goal architecture, your enthusiasm crashes by January 21st. The goal architecture gives you the actual system to turn that commitment into sustained reality.
Exactly. That scenario crystallizes how the idiom works in real situations. Someone hearing that would immediately understand the meaning and usage context.
This strategy is genuinely transformational if implemented with consistency. Each strategy builds on the previous ones, creating a compounding system. Ready for the next one?
Absolutely. Next, we're revealing something that separates elite performers from average achievers. Strategy number 2. The 90-day sprint system, dividing 2026 into 4 focused 90-day periods instead of thinking about the whole year at once.
Christopher, this is fascinating. I've always struggled with making New Year's commitments actually stick. Walk us through the science and specific implementation details.
Your brain cannot effectively hold 365 days in working memory simultaneously. It's cognitively overwhelming. But 90 days? That's psychologically manageable. Silicon Valley's most successful founders, including Eric Ries and the lean startup methodology, operate in 90-day sprints. Researcher Roy Baumeister's work on self-regulation shows that humans maintain peak focus and motivation for approximately 90-day cycles. Beyond that, motivation naturally decays. The 90-day sprint strategy involves 4 explicit phases, quarter 1 through 4, each with specific objectives, milestones, and success metrics. At the end of each quarter, you conduct a complete review: what worked, what failed, what you learned, then adjust for the next quarter. This creates 4 separate, best years stacked together. Elite athletes use this approach for training cycles. Software companies use it for product development. Your personal development can leverage identical methodology.
This is brilliant because it prevents year-long fatigue, right? You're not trying to maintain peak motivation for 12 months straight. You're resetting every 90 days.
Exactly. And psychologically, it creates 4 opportunities for complete renewal. If quarter 1 doesn't go perfectly, which it won't, you haven't failed at 2026. You're in quarter 1 of 4. You learn, adjust, and sprint again. The reset button comes predictably every 90 days.
What should someone actually do right now, in early January 2026, to launch their first 90-day sprint?
3 specific actions this week. Define your Q1 2026 primary objective, singular focus. Identify 3 to 4 supporting milestones for January, February, and March respectively. Then commit to weekly review meetings with yourself every Sunday evening, 10 minutes assessing progress against Q1 targets. The sprint begins immediately.
Excellent framework. For our professional listeners, the precise technical term used in organizational psychology and business strategy is sprint cycle. This is essential vocabulary for strategic conversations. Define this precisely.
Outstanding question. Sprint cycle refers to a concentrated 90-day period of focused effort toward specific objectives with predetermined milestones and regular progress reviews, allowing brains to maintain peak motivation while making substantial measurable progress toward annual goals. This terminology appears in Harvard Business Review, McKinsey Research, and strategic planning documents globally.
I can see myself using this language naturally in strategy meetings and professional presentations. Now, how do native English speakers naturally express this concept? The idiom is take it one step at a time.
Perfect point. Many English learners encounter this expression but misunderstand its application. Let me paint a vivid scenario showing this idiom in authentic context.
The full year vision feels overwhelming. 12 months of daily consistency seems impossible. But when you break 2026 into quarterly sprints and then into weekly targets, you can take it one step at a time. This week's target suddenly feels achievable. Next week arrives and you've hit another milestone. After 13 weeks, you've completed quarter one completely.
Exactly. That scenario crystallizes how the idiom works in real situations. Someone hearing that would immediately understand the meaning and usage context.
This strategy is genuinely transformational if implemented with consistency. Each strategy builds on the previous ones, creating a compounding system. Ready for the next one?
Absolutely. Next, we're revealing something that separates elite performers from average achievers. Strategy number 3. Habit stacking for exponential progress, anchoring new 2026 habits to existing routines to eliminate the willpower cost of behavior change.
Christopher, this is fascinating. I've always struggled with making New Year's commitments actually stick. Walk us through the science and specific implementation details.
James Clear's best-selling research reveals that stacking new habits onto existing routines produces 300% higher success rates than trying to establish habits in isolation. The formula, after I, existing habit, I will, new habit, dot. For instance, after I pour my morning coffee, I will review my 2026 quarterly objectives for 2 minutes. You're not creating new time, you're hijacking existing behavioral sequences. Your brain already has neural pathways established for morning coffee. You're simply appending the new habit to that existing pathway. Neuroscientist Wendy Suzuki's research shows this approach reduces activation energy, the mental effort required to begin, from high levels to nearly zero. You're not willpowering yourself into a new identity. You're systematically anchoring new behaviors to old ones, creating compound growth. By mid-2026, you'll have stacked dozens of tiny improvements that compound into remarkable transformation.
So you're leveraging existing neural pathways instead of trying to build entirely new ones from scratch? That's incredibly efficient.
Absolutely. And here's the multiplier effect. If you stack 3 habits daily for 90 days, that's 810 repetitions across quarter one alone. By year end, you've executed thousands of repetitions. Behavioral psychology proves that frequency trumps intensity. Daily tiny stacks beat sporadic heroic efforts every single time.
Give us concrete examples of habit stacks someone could implement immediately on January 2026.
7 powerful stacks for 2026. 1. After your shower, immediately drink water, 3-minute hydration habit. 2. After breakfast, review your quarterly objective. 3. After lunch, 15-minute skill development, programming, language learning, whatever. 4. After dinner, 10-minute walk, movement and reflection. 5. After evening news, journaling 5 minutes. 6. After brushing teeth, 5-minute meditation. 7. After closing your laptop, family time or reading. 7 stacks daily compounds into extraordinary transformation.
Excellent framework. For our professional listeners, the precise technical term used in organizational psychology and business strategy is habit stacking. This is essential vocabulary for strategic conversations. Define this precisely.
Outstanding question. Habit stacking refers to the behavioral technique of anchoring new desired habits to existing automatic routines using the format after I, existing habit, I will, new habit, which dramatically reduces required willpower and leverages established neural pathways for rapid behavior change. This terminology appears in Harvard Business Review, McKinsey Research, and strategic planning documents globally.
I can see myself using this language naturally in strategy meetings and professional presentations. Now, how do native English speakers naturally express this concept? The idiom is built on something.
Perfect point. Many English learners encounter this expression but misunderstand its application. Let me paint a vivid scenario showing this idiom in authentic context.
You've struggled to maintain consistent exercise habits for years, starting and stopping repeatedly. The breakthrough arrives when you realize you can build on something you already do reliably, your morning shower. After showering, immediately change into gym clothes and commit to a 15-minute workout. You're not creating a habit from zero, you're building on an existing, automatic routine.
Exactly. That scenario crystallizes how the idiom works in real situations. Someone hearing that would immediately understand the meaning and usage context.
This strategy is genuinely transformational if implemented with consistency. Each strategy builds on the previous ones, creating a compounding system. Ready for the next one?
Absolutely. Next, we're revealing something that separates elite performers from average achievers. Strategy number 4. The energy management mastery, optimizing your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual energy as the foundation for peak 2026 performance.
Christopher, this is fascinating. I've always struggled with making New Year's commitments actually stick. Walk us through the science and specific implementation details.
Most people approach 2026 with willpower and motivation, completely ignoring the underlying physiology. Your brain is a biological machine. Energy management researcher Jim Loehr discovered that peak performers, Olympic athletes, surgeons, executives, don't rely on willpower. They manage energy ruthlessly. For energy types compound, physical energy from sleep, nutrition, and movement, mental energy from focus and cognitive rest, emotional energy from relationships and meaning, spiritual energy from values alignment. Neuroscience shows that sleep deprivation reduces willpower by 26% per night. Poor nutrition impairs decision-making within hours. Movement increases focus by 40%. Loneliness decreases motivation by 35%. 2026 isn't won through motivation, it's won through systematic energy architecture. Elite performers sleep 8 hours nightly, move for 1 hour daily, eat nutrient-dense foods, invest in relationships, and align work with personal values. This doesn't require heroic willpower, it requires intelligent life design.
This reframes 2026 success from motivation to physiology. You're basically saying the body enables the mind to execute goals?
Fundamentally. Your prefrontal cortex, the planning and willpower center, runs on glucose and sleep. Starve it of either, and willpower vanishes instantly. Feed it properly, and suddenly willpower feels abundant. Same brain, different physiological inputs, completely different performance.
How does someone actually implement energy management systematically in January 2026?
Week 1 priorities: establish a consistent sleep schedule, same bedtime nightly, non-negotiable. Week 2, commit to daily movement, 30 minutes minimum, any form. Week 3, audit nutrition, eliminate 3 high-inflammation foods, add 3 nutrient-dense foods. Week 4, schedule 1 weekly connection with someone meaningful. These 4 stacks directly fuel your goal execution capacity.
Excellent framework. For our professional listeners, the precise technical term used in organizational psychology and business strategy is energy architecture. This is essential vocabulary for strategic conversations. Define this precisely.
Outstanding question. Energy architecture refers to the systematic optimization of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual energy through sleep, nutrition, movement, relationships, and values alignment, which creates the physiological and psychological foundation enabling sustained goal execution and peak performance. This terminology appears in Harvard Business Review, McKinsey Research, and strategic planning documents globally.
I can see myself using this language naturally in strategy meetings and professional presentations. Now, how do native English speakers naturally express this concept? The idiom is burn yourself out.
Perfect point. Many English learners encounter this expression but misunderstand its application. Let me paint a vivid scenario showing this idiom in authentic context.
Throughout 2025, you pushed continuously, working late nights, sacrificing sleep, neglecting exercise, isolating from friends. By November, you felt completely depleted, unable to function effectively. The problem? You burned yourself out through neglecting foundational physiology. 2026 reverses this. Prioritize sleep, movement, nutrition, and relationships first, then build goals on that solid foundation.
Exactly. That scenario crystallizes how the idiom works in real situations. Someone hearing that would immediately understand the meaning and usage context.
This strategy is genuinely transformational if implemented with consistency. Each strategy builds on the previous ones, creating a compounding system. Ready for the next one?
Absolutely. Next, we're revealing something that separates elite performers from average achievers. Strategy number 5. The accountability system design, building external accountability structures that make 2026 commitment irreversible.
Christopher, this is fascinating. I've always struggled with making New Year's commitments actually stick. Walk us through the science and specific implementation details.
Research from Dominican University's goal-setting studies shows that public commitment combined with accountability partners increases goal achievement from 42% to 95%, a 225% improvement. This isn't motivational psychology, this is leveraging social identity and loss aversion. When you commit publicly, your identity becomes invested. Failure feels like identity threat, which is psychologically intolerable. Additionally, disappointing others hurts more than disappointing yourself. Entrepreneur Derek Sivers' research revealed that announcing goals actually reduces completion probability unless combined with accountability. The mechanism, announcing creates premature psychological reward, your brain feels accomplished before execution, reducing motivation. But announcing to an accountability partner who tracks actual progress? That works powerfully. They celebrate genuine wins, challenge excuses, and create positive peer pressure.
So the key is not just telling people your goals, but building structures where someone tracks your actual progress and you report to them regularly?
Precisely. Weekend coffee with an accountability partner reviewing your weekly 90-day sprint progress creates healthy pressure. You want to arrive with completed milestones, not excuses. That pressure converts directly into disciplined action.
What does a functional accountability system actually look like? Give us the operational details.
3-part accountability system. 1. Find an accountability partner, ideally someone with similar goals or ambitious mindset. 2. Establish a weekly check-in, 15 minutes every Sunday evening via call or coffee. 3. Document your progress objectively. Which quarterly milestones did you hit? Use a simple spreadsheet. Celebrate wins, analyze failures, adjust strategy. Repeat weekly. This structure transforms 2026 from vague aspiration to tracked reality.
Excellent framework. For our professional listeners, the precise technical term used in organizational psychology and business strategy is accountability system. This is essential vocabulary for strategic conversations. Define this precisely.
Outstanding question. Accountability system refers to a structured framework including regular check-ins with accountability partners, documented progress tracking, and public commitment that leverages social pressure and loss aversion to ensure consistent follow-through on 2026 goals and milestones. This terminology appears in Harvard Business Review, McKinsey Research, and strategic planning documents globally.
I can see myself using this language naturally in strategy meetings and professional presentations. Now, how do native English speakers naturally express this concept? The idiom is keep someone accountable.
Perfect point. Many English learners encounter this expression but misunderstand its application. Let me paint a vivid scenario showing this idiom in authentic context.
Your friend swears they'll finally learn Python in 2026 but never actually starts. You decide to keep them accountable, scheduling weekly check-ins, asking specifically about coding hours, celebrating small wins publicly. Suddenly, your friend's commitment becomes real. They can't skip learning because they'll disappoint you and feel social pressure. Accountability transforms intention into action.
Exactly. That scenario crystallizes how the idiom works in real situations. Someone hearing that would immediately understand the meaning and usage context.
This strategy is genuinely transformational if implemented with consistency. Each strategy builds on the previous ones, creating a compounding system. Ready for the next one?
Absolutely. Next, we're revealing something that separates elite performers from average achievers. Strategy number 6. The failure protocol and resilience, engineering resilience through systematic failure analysis instead of shame and abandonment.
Christopher, this is fascinating. I've always struggled with making New Year's commitments actually stick. Walk us through the science and specific implementation details.
Perfectionism kills 2026 goals faster than anything else. You miss one workout and the internal narrative becomes, I failed at fitness. You eat pizza once and suddenly, I failed at nutrition. One skipped study session and, I'm not disciplined. Psychologist Carol Dweck's growth mindset research proves that successful people view failure as data, not identity threat. Thomas Edison famously conducted 1,000 experiments before the light bulb worked. He didn't fail 1,000 times. He gathered 1,000 data points. Similarly, 2026 won't be linear. You'll miss targets, hit obstacles, face unexpected challenges. The difference between successful and unsuccessful people. Successful people have a failure protocol. When plans derail, they conduct a rapid postmortem. What happened, why, what can we learn, how do we adjust, then immediately implement the adjustment. They treat failure as course correction data, not character indictment.
This is psychologically liberating, isn't it? You're essentially given permission to fail because failure is treated as feedback, not failure?
Exactly. And neuroscience supports this. When people view setbacks as failures, they activate the amygdala, the threat center, triggering shame and avoidance. When they view setbacks as data, they activate the prefrontal cortex, the learning center, triggering analysis and adaptation. Different neural pathways, dramatically different outcomes.
How should someone structure their failure protocol practically? What's the actual process?
The failure protocol has 4 steps. 1. Acknowledge the miss without judgment. I planned to study 3 hours, studied 1. 2. Identify the root cause without blame. I underestimated my meeting duration, reducing available time. 3. Extract the lesson. Need better calendar buffering and realistic time estimates. 4. Adjust the system immediately. Moving forward, study sessions start 1 hour after last appointment ends. Implement, repeat, improve. That's resilience engineering.
Excellent framework. For our professional listeners, the precise technical term used in organizational psychology and business strategy is failure protocol. This is essential vocabulary for strategic conversations. Define this precisely.
Outstanding question. Failure protocol refers to a systematic 4-step process for responding to missed goals or setbacks. Acknowledge, analyze root cause, extract learning, adjust systems, that converts failure into valuable data and maintains momentum toward 2026 objectives. This terminology appears in Harvard Business Review, McKinsey Research, and strategic planning documents globally.
I can see myself using this language naturally in strategy meetings and professional presentations. Now, how do native English speakers naturally express this concept? The idiom is learn from your mistakes.
Perfect point. Many English learners encounter this expression but misunderstand its application. Let me paint a vivid scenario showing this idiom in authentic context.
You committed to morning workouts starting January and hit the gym consistently for 2 weeks. Then your schedule shifted unexpectedly, you missed 3 days, and your motivation evaporated. You could abandon the goal entirely, or you could learn from your mistakes, analyzing what derailed you, adjusting timing to late evening instead, and rebuilding consistency. Wisdom isn't about never failing, it's about extracting intelligence from failure.
Exactly. That scenario crystallizes how the idiom works in real situations. Someone hearing that would immediately understand the meaning and usage context.
This strategy is genuinely transformational if implemented with consistency. Each strategy builds on the previous ones, creating a compounding system. Ready for the next one?
Absolutely. Next, we're revealing something that separates elite performers from average achievers. Strategy number 7. The quarterly review and 2026 optimization, conducting strategic quarterly reviews that feed learning directly into the next 90-day sprint.
Christopher, this is fascinating. I've always struggled with making New Year's commitments actually stick. Walk us through the science and specific implementation details.
Jeff Bezos famously conducts quarterly reviews at Amazon, treating them with board-level importance. The quarterly review isn't administrative busywork, it's the mechanism through which strategic learning compounds. Every 90 days, high-performing individuals conduct a comprehensive review. What quarterly objectives did I achieve? What did I miss? Why? What assumptions proved wrong? What new capabilities did I develop? What should I prioritize next quarter? Organizational psychologists find that companies conducting rigorous quarterly reviews outperform those with annual reviews by 34% on objective metrics. The mechanism: feedback becomes actionable at quarterly intervals. You're still close enough to quarter one decisions to understand causation. By year end, causation becomes murky. Additionally, quarterly reviews create accountability to yourself. You're explicitly measuring whether you're living according to your stated values.
So the quarterly review is essentially a structured conversation with yourself where you measure, learn, and adjust for continuous improvement?
Precisely. And here's what's powerful: by conducting 4 reviews in 2026 instead of 1 at year-end, you're essentially compressing 12 months of learning into 4 cycles. That acceleration is why sprint-based approaches generate dramatically faster results.
What should the actual quarterly review look like? How long should it take? What questions should you ask?
Schedule 2 hours at the end of each quarter, quiet space, distraction-free. Answer 6 specific questions. 1. Which quarterly objectives did I complete? 2. Which did I miss and why? 3. What assumptions proved wrong? 4. What new capabilities did I develop? 5. What will I prioritize next quarter based on this learning? 6. How am I progressing against my annual mission statement? Document answers in a personal journal. This becomes your 2026 performance log. By year-end, you have 4 comprehensive reviews showing your evolution.
Excellent framework. For our professional listeners, the precise technical term used in organizational psychology and business strategy is quarterly review. This is essential vocabulary for strategic conversations. Define this precisely.
Outstanding question. Quarterly review refers to a structured 2-hour introspective session conducted at the end of each 90-day sprint that measures goal completion, analyzes root causes of successes and failures, extracts strategic learning, and informs the next sprint's priorities for continuous improvement. This terminology appears in Harvard Business Review, McKinsey Research, and strategic planning documents globally.
I can see myself using this language naturally in strategy meetings and professional presentations. Now, how do native English speakers naturally express this concept? The idiom is looking back.
Perfect point. Many English learners encounter this expression but misunderstand its application. Let me paint a vivid scenario showing this idiom in authentic context.
As quarter one concludes in March 2026, you pause to reflect, looking back at those 90 days. You completed some goals, missed others, discovered unexpected opportunities, developed new skills. This reflection feeds directly into your quarter two planning, creating an iterative cycle where each quarter builds intelligently on previous learning. That's how 2026 becomes genuinely your best year.
Exactly. That scenario crystallizes how the idiom works in real situations. Someone hearing that would immediately understand the meaning and usage context.
This strategy is genuinely transformational if implemented with consistency. Each strategy builds on the previous ones, creating a compounding system. Ready for the next one?
Absolutely. Next, we're revealing something that separates elite performers from average achievers.
Christopher, we've covered 7 powerful systems: goal architecture, 90-day sprints, habit stacking, energy management, accountability, failure protocols, and quarterly reviews.
7 interconnected strategies that compound together into genuine transformation. Not one magic system, a complete ecosystem of reinforcing practices.
Pick one system starting this week. If you struggle with goal clarity, start with goal architecture. If you're overwhelmed by the year-long timeline, embrace 90-day sprints. Different starting points, all leading toward 2026 success.
Implement your chosen system fully through quarter 1, 13 weeks, one system embedded completely. By April 2026, you'll be unrecognizable compared to today. That's the power of systematic approach.
Download our complete vocabulary reference from the description, all 7 technical terms, definitions, business context examples, and citations to the original research. Your professional English will strengthen measurably.
Challenge: which single system resonates most strongly with your biggest 2026 obstacle? Comment below with your answer. We read every response, feature outstanding stories, and build future episodes around your questions.
Remember, 32 minutes of focused learning compounds into 52 weeks of improved execution. That's how 2026 becomes genuinely your best year.
I'm Christopher, and 2026 isn't something that happens to you. It's something you architect.
I'm Aria. Design your year, design your future, design your breakthrough.
See you next coffee break.